material. So I'm going to talk about pipe, and I think I'm going to make this slightly larger so I get rid of the menu bar or the menu over in the left side. So here we will try to talk about the piping, and when to use it and how to use it, and there will also be some examples of using pipe that you will get to try around with. And pipe is an operator. If you look at it online, it's sometimes called a pipeline, and it's used to chain commands. Pipes are used when you want to take the output of one input command and then use it as input to another command. Or you can actually put several pipes so that you take the output from the first as input to the next, and then the output from that as input to the next, and so on. And often that will be called to pass output to another command. And it will be shown with this symbol here between the commands. So that is the operator. You will maybe see that you can often do the same thing with an intermediate file or more than you can with this operator pipe. But it's often better, or at least easier and shorter, to just combine the commands with one or more pipes instead of each time making an output file and then reading that in. And pipes are very useful, and you will see them used in most of the later sections, both today and tomorrow. So it looks like this, the syntax: first command, second command, third command, and so on. And as I said before, there are some prerequisites that I will assume people know how it works. And you can take a look at them here, just as a reminder. So there is less, more, cat. So these are used mainly for looking at files, but it can also, especially cat here, be used for file-related operations. And that's possibly not something you have used it for, but you will see it used for that. There's find, that I'm going to assume people know. The main one is probably find, where you use the option -type F and search for files. But there is also the execute command, which is very commonly used. At least I use it. And then there's sort, that you use to sort files in given order, or print the output of a file in a given order. And it can be made to sort it in different ways, like reverse or in string numerical value. So if you don't know this, then you can find the reminder of them here. Head prints the beginning, tail the end of a file. Echo displaying line of text and strings that are passed as argument, and T copy standard input to each file and also to standard output. So look at these if you see a command that you don't know, or if you don't remember it completely. So now I will go directly to a lot of examples and show you how things work that way. And I would like you to type along. And to do so, I want to make sure you got these exercises here, or the files for the exercises. Then go into the exercises directory, go into the piping WC cuts directory. And I am just going to make this larger so that there is room for doing stuff here. So first, let's try use one pipe. And I'm going to do that with the command ls -l, and I'll just show you what happens when I do that. And then it shows you, it lists all the files, as you probably know. But what if you had a ton of files, or that this was smaller? It's just here. Now there isn't room for all of them. So I'm writing ls minus l, and then I am going to make this pipe here. And on my keyboard, which is a Nordic keyboard, I get it by pressing Alt ground, and then there is a key in the left side of the keyboard just beside the shift button. And there, that is where the pipe sits on my keyboard. It may sit in different places, especially if you have an American keyboard. So let's write more. And that means that the command ls minus l, it made output, and that output was passed to the command more. And you can see here, it says more here at the bottom, and you can now just see it into so that you are actually able to see the whole text. And that's useful if you have a lot of file, for instance, or some other long output. So let's try and do the same with a pipe and then sort a list of files by size. And now I'm going to make this larger again. So we are in the directory exercises, piping minus WC minus cut. ls minus L, and then the pipe operator, and then I'm going to sort it, and I'm going to sort it by size, and I'm going to do that like this. So try type this and see that it actually sorts it. You can see here the files are now sorted, and they are sorted alphanumerically. So it's not sorted in the regular way. So you can see here, because it starts by 1 and then 3 and then 4. So this is the way it's sorted it here. You can add minus n to get it sorted numerically instead in the regular way. And this 5 here is telling it to sort it by that column. So of course, as you know, you could sort files with ls minus l minus capital S, but then you wouldn't have control of how it was sorted. Then it would be sorted maybe lexicographically instead. But this way, there's a lot of extra options that you can give. So maybe that is why you want to use the sort command to ls instead of just using ls's own extra options. Let's see how it looked if I did that. See, so this is how it would look normally sorted with ls. Of course, you can sort it reversibly with ls, but you get a lot more options by piping the ls output to sort. But this is just an example, and there are other examples that would be more useful and necessary to do it that way instead. This is what I just showed you. So now we use one pipe again, and this time we're also going to use echo. And here, just type some lines. It doesn't matter what you type, but here you see sort of an interactive way of doing it. Because if you use echo and then you put a, what are they called in English?
Double quote.
Double quotes are the English name, yes. Sorry, my mind is in Danish mode today. I'm sorry. So now I have started to write something, and I'm just going, as long as I don't put the end double quote, it will continue to receive input. So I can write something. This is a line, and then I can put enter of input. I am writing more. and more. And then I put an end double quote. And now I'm going to put the pipe operator, and then I'm just going to write sort. And when I do that, I get the input that I just wrote sorted, as you can see. So here it is sorted. So try and play around with that also. And let's see if anyone has written anything. Chat. I'm just going to move it over
Nope.
here. There's nothing important there. Good. So let's continue and use two pipes, head and tail, to print lines in a specific range. So this is just a way of showing you how you can use two of the pipe operators. So here, cat is taking the content of a new file, throwing it to screen, and then I am piping that output into the command head -2, which is then showing you the first two lines. I think I'm actually going to do it the opposite way because this makes no sense. I don't know why I wrote that. So you see here, cat new file. And that output shows you the content. And I am going to pipe it. I'm piping it to head. And let's take the first three lines with head. And then you see it takes three first lines. And that content, I'm going to pipe it one more time. And here I'm going to use tail, which takes the last lines. And I say I want the last two lines. And then it grabs just those two lines here. So in effect, you can pull out specific lines in the middle this way. But yeah, it's better to swap them around because otherwise you probably only get one line. And that's also what I did in my example. So I think I flaked on it when I wrote this. So let's try do the same with ls, just to see that it doesn't matter which command it is. ls is making a number of lines, and I'm going to pipe it, send the output to the head command. Again, I will grab some lines from it. I'm going to send the output to another command, namely tail, and I'm going to grab output from that. And I just got one line here, and I will show you what happened in between. It looked like this, because what happens here is that the ls command, when you put it to screen, it will sort it in as many columns as there is room for. But when you are sending it to one of these other commands, it will just see it as one long line because it's not really, it doesn't have any knowledge about how many lines are there, how much space is there. So because of that, the ls command here will just have one column with all the output in. And that means that all these files here will be shown first this column, then this column, then this column, as if this was very narrow. So I will do like this, just as another example. And now I'm instead going to do tail first. I'm taking the last four, and then I will send that to head. And again, you see this. And that is almost the same as what I did here, but let's try do that as well. So here, what is happening here is that I'm grabbing the 14 files output about them, and then I am going to sort them. So let's do that. First, let's see what happens here. You see here it got those 14 files, and then I'm going to type it, send it to sort, and then I'm sorting it numerically. Oh, alphanumerically. And there I have just one more example here. Doesn't matter, it's more that it's good to see what happens. I mean, it's good to play along around with these and simply see how the output changes so that you feel sure that you actually know what you can expect from one of the commands. So find you is first you tell it the directory and it's the current directory, so I mark it with a dot. And then I say that I want the type to be file minus type F. And then I will look at the names. And the names should be text files. That is most of the files in this directory, but not quite all. So I mark that. And this should be known, but this will find it. And then I will sort it. What did I do wrong? That meant that it didn't see anything. I forgot to add the star. The star is a regular expression that just can stand in place of anything else. And then it looks like this. So let's take the same line again and then sort it. And it looks like this. And then we take this output and just grab the last 4 lines. And we get this. And that is the same as you got here. And then let's just make one more exercise where you use yet one more instance of the pipe. So here again, I look for all files in the current directory that end in the suffix text. I sort them. I grab the 4 first, and then I use T list to put it to the file list and also to screen. So let's try this. Find dot minus type F minus name. That will be star dot text. Then I am using the pipe operator. I am sorting it. I'm using the pipe operator. I'm taking the first 4 lines. Again, I am using the pipe operator. I am taking this output and using T to put it to the file list text and also to screen. There will now be a file called list text. It is here. I'm just going to use cat to show you what is inside of it. And you can see it has the same content as what was here. Okay, so it is time for an exercise. And I suggest using the remaining time until 9:30 to do this exercise. And it shouldn't take long. It is merely using the same commands that you have seen before. So there are 4 small exercises: sorted files ending in text, print the 4 first lines of the list of files ending in text, last 5 lines, and echo. So play around with that.